Good evening and welcome to Four-Sided Dive. I am Robbie Daymond, your 24th Tavern Keeper, news anchor, and here with tonight's top stories. Bell's Hells made headlines last month when they returned to the moon of Exandria and naturally got in the middle of a wizard fight smack dab in the basement of a smutty little bookstore. According to sources, the two wizards were both very hot and shared an affinity for dirty boys named Bren. Matt Mercer will have more on that later. And now to the world of politics. This is the camera, right? To the world of politics, and a word on everyone's lips today is Swordgate. Last month, resident kind of dead lady Laudna stirred up controversies when she attempted to steal a sword that Orem stole from a definitely dead lady. Marisha Ray is here to set the record straight once and for all. And now, let's check in with the Lorecast with our resident lore keeper, Danny Carr.
Well, Robbie, whether or not Amadna can recover from this is yet to be seen, but here we can see a strong system of romantic turbulence between them that could make your Thursday night a little tearful. Also, temperatures in the north around Aor are heating up due to a concentration of hot boy energy. Later, fashion icon Laura Bailey will walk you through what not to wear during this hot boy summer. We'll have your 5-day Lorecast within the hour. Back to you, Robbie.
Thank you, Danny. And finally, of course, Dorian Storm has officially made his way back to Bell's Hells after failing to save his friend Opal, thanks a lot, and his brother Cyrus and ghosting Dariax. But he's brought Orem a brand new outfit? He's brought Orem a brand new outfit. Bought him one. That's right, I did that in real life. And Robbie Daymond, that's me, will editorialize on those events later. And be sure to stick around for more Four-Sided Dive, or More-Sided Dive as properly branded, because tonight we're doomed! As in, we'll be playing a game called We're Doomed, the Game of Global Panic. It's funny because we're doomed, and the name of the game is, yeah. Welcome to Four-Sided Dive! Let's do the bleeping show! Welcome back. Let's begin tonight with our open discussion segment. I feel like you guys are ready for it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah. It's been a lot of things.
Just a few things.
What the fuck is up with what?
I've
Robbie?
heard requests. I've heard requests to talk about family issues. Everyone's favorite therapy topic. This is a therapy show, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It can get that way
Can be,
sometimes.
yeah.
I expected the chairs to be longer and all of us laying back, but that's
Yeah.
what
It's
we
all
do.
time. We'll come back at the break. We'll fix it. We got you.
When we came back, one thing that freaked me out with all my new info was Fern's pop. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck is up with that. I got like the book jacket version, but I don't know what's happening.
It's weird because I never know, like, should we fill Robbie in on this? Is that too metagamey? Should we just let him
should we
discover
just
it on
leave you in
his
the dark?
own?
It's
Leave him in the
fun.
dark?
I mean, to a certain degree, I can see that standpoint, but that's more of like what I guess the player preference.
Yeah.
Because like at the same point, you can very well compartmentalize between what my character knows and what I know as Robbie.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want you to feel like you're completely in the dark.
No, I had this moment where I was thinking like, okay, if I come back, I want to know what Dorian knows. So I was kind of like purposely staying away from things that I wasn't like tagged in or weren't like blowing up online or whatever. But then I also knew the moment would come if that happened, where Matt would go, and they tell you everything. And I go, fuck, because then I have to know everything. So I've been trying since I've been back to like catch up and vibe on it. But I think there are like moments to kind of be like, I don't know what's happening.
And that's okay.
And it's fun, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Just fill you in?
well, yeah,
Right
I mean,
now?
like, yeah, the book jacket.
I also assume that, like, there's downtime moments where the characters are like, we walk to this next location,
Totally.
or we're gonna go get some food, where we're like, so here's the deal.
Yeah, we don't talk about every poop we take on stream either,
Yes.
but you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
I guess like
Unless you want to see that, I guess let us know, please. Hashtag.
I mean, some people do. Grog always did, but
I guess it's weird because like playing with you guys is like playing with like the world's biggest franchise fans because you're the genesis of it. So fundamentally, you know everything. You guys have been there from square one. I don't know.
Isn't that right, Danny? We know
everything.
She made a face too. I saw the face she
Y'all
just
know
made.
everything.
yeah,
We
Danny-
know
Danny knows
everything.
Hey, Robbie, I've got some recaps I can send you that we'll talk about so much.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, give him the sleeve.
What?
Oh, I'm looking at Laura.
I couldn't tell you were looking past me, Danny. So, okay.
You are?
So here's the thing. I know, it's like really. Hi.
First got bad dad.
First got a bad dad. So we went to the Fey Realm.
Okay.
And we fought some people.
How'd you do?
She's also got like a really powerful Nana.
Okay. That I knew.
Yeah.
That I knew.
Nana Mori, obviously, EXU. And so while we were there, we fought this really bad guy called the Shadow Lord, right?
Sorrow Lord Zathuda.
Sorry, oh, Shadow Lord is from Nier.
Yeah.
We know everything.
You so like downgraded his lore. Yeah, it's like this beautiful name. He's like the Shadow Lord or something.
Sorrow Lord.
Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Is
He's
so
big,
Discord here.
yeah,
For
it's-
four-sided
You're
die,
doing
right?
great.
Okay.
You're doing
Well,
great.
he's-
Pit us against each other.
I know
We're
Matt
friendships.
could be totally giving this to you, and I'm the one giving this to you.
No,
which
I'm loving
is-
it. Keep
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
please.
So we fought him. He had a big, scary dragon.
Okay.
Fern loved the dragon.
Oh.
Also, we realized that he was her dad.
Oh.
In that moment,
No,
No.
it was much later.
it was much later. He was super cool, and we were all like, ooh, he's cool. And then we escaped him.
Okay.
And then later we found out he was her dad.
Were those words?
Also,
Barely.
Fern's dad is working with the Ruby Vanguard of
Yes.
Ludinous.
I knew that.
That's
I learned
key.
that. I was paying attention to
Maybe I should do
I
the
think-
recaps too.
I think you're.
Please
I
join
think
me
you're
for
pretty
my
caught up
next
now.
TikTok.
It feels right. It
Her
feels right.
dad is working with Ludinous,
Okay.
with the Ruby Vanguard.
Got it. Love the
But
Ruby
they
Vanguard.
are opposed forces at the same time. Do you know who the Ruby Vanguard is?
Of course.
They're people working with Ludinous.
Yeah.
They're the foot soldiers working with Ludinous.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, he's got more than that.
No,
It's not.
good.
That's not just that.
You guys are doing great.
It's all.
And then Fern's dad, he like,
I'm giving you a book jacket.
yeah, he tried to basically orchestrate Fern in her birth to be a
Oh,
a
that's an
Ruinous
important
born.
part.
She's a vessel. A potential vessel.
She's a
She is
potential vessel.
Okay.
I think this is no shade to Fern or Ashley Johnson. I think she's like at the bottom of the list when it comes to options to be the vessel.
Not
But
yeah.
exalted.
I mean, like Zathuda,
Yes.
like Ludinous' plan has been going on for a long time, and there are a number of individuals that he's aligned with over recent years and such to try and give them the best chance at success through this. Sorrow Lord Zathuda was one of the inner people of that plot to try and create possible Ruidus born that could be exalted enough, powerful enough to become a possible vessel and kind of stack the deck. However, she ended up being taken by her birth mother and what basically became the adopted father of Fern, but they both kind of vanished most of her life. She was then protected by Nana Mori for most of her life and kind of fucked up his plans. And now that she's returned, she is a Ruidus born, but all this time he's been basically told that he was a failure and producing a possible vessel. And it's kind of, you can get a bit of that tension inside his relationship with Ludinous and the plot. But now he's seeing Fern again, seeing what she's capable of, and is kind of excited that maybe she will fulfill her.
Upgrade her.
Yeah, he's like, maybe all this time that they were making fun of me and Ludinous was being a dick about my failure, he's wrong, and I can prove that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's all sorts of weird dynamics happening with there, and he's starting to be like, maybe you are a good daughter, you know, maybe I will be proud of you, and it's just like, no, you're gross. That's kind of
Yeah.
really fucked up. There's a lot of fucked up like parental dynamics, but also a lot of like disparate relationships and like people becoming friends in this narrative, and then discovering that a lot of this was kind of engineered in the background. It just kind of went off the intended path, and now it's starting to come back and in some cases blow up in their face, and others kind of maybe align with what they were hoping. And so yeah, it's getting some interesting tension.
Well, and you spread your net out so far that now you've got all these potential like antagonists and protagonists that could come from different angles.
Yeah.
And so like when he was introduced in that, we're current. He was introduced in that fight with the Shadow Fern. My first instinct was like, who is this guy? And you've had an engagement with him before, and it was so fun to watch that all unfold. I think one of the most fun times I've had playing at the table is realizing that, sure, sometimes you got to throw enemies at the players or whatever, and I think that's like a misconception, but I've always felt like every engagement, in your games in particular, feels like they're meaningful. they're impactful. It's not like, oh, I've got this mini I want to use, slap it down. It feels like those, maybe I'm putting too much on it, but there's a reason for every conflict. It feels so, that's what, it feels meaningful to be a part of it and then to watch it unfold like we watched the Fern fight unfold. I felt like I was participating and I was just watching.
I know.
Yeah,
Popcorn.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. And even like the random encounters of a scenario had the intention of building out the world. You know, even the threats of meeting unique dangers in a new bio.
Giants that we could have fought.
Yeah, I had battlefields built out in case that ended up going sideways. The ice trolls, they're on the path. If you guys hadn't stealthed so well in there, I had a whole battlefield of like the tunnel going deeper and getting thinner. Like, I had your options, but these dangers are meant to be like fun challenges and get to use your abilities and like, you know, hone your tactics and stuff and try out new things, but also to build out a bit of the lore subtly of where you are, you know, what things have taken up precedence here. Sometimes it's just fun to fight a monster, but more often than not, I try and make it meaningful to the characters and the story and the overall kind of narrative that we're going with. And yeah, the whole thing with Shadow Fern and the Dark Fae aspect of her history was kicked off in the EXU. Yeah. When you guys were going through the Verdant Expanse and found the gate. And all of a sudden, the Dark Fern figure there, that was kind of the impetus, the beginning of that story.
I think that was the one moment that I had that I got to have with Orem and Ashley where we all went to go, oh, and the rest of you at the table were like, wow.
That's true.
This is brand new.
Hey, but your mom's kind of sketchy too, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't that right?
Actually, yeah, let's get into that then.
Well, I mean, right? We're talking about family affairs, right?
What the fuck is up with that?
What the fuck is up with that?
Look.
So defensive right off the bat.
I know.
No, my mom is sketchy, but also, like she has the potential to be a good mom. Like I think the things that she started out doing had good intentions. Potentially, I don't know her.
What's that saying? Road to, I can't remember where it goes.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, and now she's, having been next to Ludinus for so long, I think she's just fully indoctrinated into that cult mentality of like.
Oh, so you really think? Oh, she is. You don't think it's a hustle? You don't think it's like anything like that?
I think she sees the bad things that Ludinus is doing, and she thinks that they're bad. But also, she's been so filled with this idea of Predathos and what he can bring that while she thinks the things that Ludinus is doing are not moral, ultimately the end goal is worth it.
Have you guys had a direct confrontation with her in any way?
Yes. Yes.
Did it come to fisticuffs or was it just a chit chat?
It could have.
It almost did.
It ended up being a chit-chat.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Mom fight. I like
it.
it.
Was majors. Okay. Majors, yeah. And then she ended up, we made peace with her, and she could have come with us, or we ended up telling her to stay on the moon and basically be a spy for us.
MPC, Mom PC.
Mom PC.
Yeah, cruising along.
But
awesome.
I don't know if, like, I didn't trust her coming with, we haven't talked about this yet, right? I didn't trust her coming with us. I thought that if she came with us,
she'd probably like blow our cover a little bit too,
right? Have we talked about this on the show already?
You talked about.
Oh yeah.
Talked about a little bit at the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like she would have. I wouldn't have trusted her. I wouldn't have trusted that she wouldn't betray us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't worth her coming with us and have that dynamic.
Okay. Trust and betrayal is a theme. So, and mommy issues are a theme, and trust and betrayal.
Being enticed by a powerful force.
Yeah, weird. Where does that relate to anything that's happened? Like, what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny, that parallel between like Liliana and Laudna is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which is why I like that moment of like apologizing to Imogen and being like, oh, I feel kind of bad now because she's definitely feels like her life is not really her own and is kind of like controlled by this outer force and is kind of resigned in certain ways to being like, well, this is kind of the way it is.
And that's how Laudna feels, or that's how you think Liliana feels?
I mean, Laudna struggles with it, and I think here recently she's like I said, so much for Laudna at this point is like, you know, she's watching like Fern and Ashton taking these Titan shards and get hyper powerful, and watching like Imogen get exalted, and watching all these people like have these like moments of power. And I think Laudna's assumption is like, well, the only way I can get those is kind of through Delilah, or even if I do get one externally without involving Delilah, it still kind of in the end
Feeds
Delilah. So it's kind of like a little bit of an Ouroboros that I think at this point she's just like, I might as well, or at least Laudna and Marisha is like, let's exploit this as far as I can.
Well, can I ask you, like, kind of, what do you call, like, a little above-the-table question? So
Yeah,
sort of,
let's do it.
So, like, how much of the nature of your build and the things that you're beholden to in that do you feel informs your narrative choices? Because obviously you're having a narrative adventure within the confines of the structure of the game. Do you feel that if those reins were off and it wasn't part of what gives you your power in game, do you think you'd still make the same narrative choices because they're more interesting, or do you think they're inexorably tied?
That's a good question. I work.
I asked you a semi-serious question. I want to know.
From I thought I was coming at it from an actory perspective for a second, but in this context, I'm more of a narrative informing the build person.
Okay.
So because I'm a warlock, sorcerer, multi-class, and there's been times where, like, realistically at this point, it makes the most sense mechanically for me to just keep leveling up sorcerer. But there will be time, like the last time when I dumped a point into warlock was after I think it was after Bordor, and I had like gotten a power boost from that aspect and had narrative things. And even though it didn't necessarily, I mean, it's a leveling up is always going to be good.
It's always helpful.
It's always helpful.
It's sacrificing optimization for the narrative, like legitimacy of where you're going with the character.
Yeah. So if there's ever something that's like very Delilah heavy that happens to Laudna, then I'll drop a point into warlock.
It's kind of in the same vein as like picking spells. You could pick like super powerful spells, but they make no sense narratively for your character.
Yes.
So I just
I tend to do
away with them.
Yeah. Occasionally I will like like I took counterspell because it's a good spell.
And that's a utility spell. That's like that's
so
different, you know.
utility,
That's
But also, counterspell is totally a spell that Delilah enjoyed in her time as well.
That's true.
So still kind of fits the narrative.
Fun.
Yeah. So I'll kind of ride the line. Sometimes it's like, all right, I need something more defense heavy, or I do need something more, you know, offensive heavy or whatever. And then sometimes I'm like, animate objects because that's funny.
and it's also very useful.
It's very useful. Yeah.
You know.
Very Laudna.
Yes.
Yes,
so
exactly.
And it's our very first fight of the campaign, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we fight animate furniture,
All the animated furniture.
Yeah.
So it's all
You
kind
could
of coming
start so
around.
many adventuring parties by throwing them at a bunch of first level, second level people.
What if that's what Laudna does
It's a
after she
retirement?
retires? Yes.
Just building
like, well,
heroes.
this
On
is
a
how-
rocking porch. Well,
Yeah.
they look like they got potential. Broom! Oh, that's funny.
It's the only way she knows that adventuring party starts. So she's like, I'm just paying it forward.
It's the Campaign 19 Laudna's Legends out there in the world, just crushing it.
I like that you're imagining Laudna as an old lady now, Miss Dead End.
We'll see.
Ooh.
Excuse me.
So
Well,
fun.
speaking of like family
yeah.
issues,
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. How's Dorian processing the loss of Cyrus, bro?
Oh, shenanigans.
Talk about it.
I don't think I've ever gotten like even mildly salty at the table, and that's about as close as I've come. yeah. I was just like, oh man, I didn't want bro to go. It's a funny thing, right? Like he was a part of backstory that when we first started, that I turned in to Matt, and I never expected him to come to life, and I never expected to care for him in a visceral way. Whenever you're writing a backstory for any character, whether it be like playing a game or something that you're creating in a different media, you have to connect to it emotionally. It serves no purpose. But for this, to like meet him and to like fall in love with him and then to have him taken away, I think there are a lot of people that like, and I try not to dip my toe into like the fan side of like responses and stuff, but I saw a repeating theme of like, oh, Cyrus was always meant to die. And I'll go on record here as saying is like, that was never part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was ever a plan for how any of it would unfold. And it was the last thing I expected. Because it seems like, I don't know, it just seems like there's so many avenues to get to where you're trying to go. And I didn't expect it. And it like hurt. It hurt unexpectedly. And I also have been carrying around this character thing I want to, if we have time to explore later, there's a lot of shit going on about Dorian's regrets about how he handled that scenario, and I have regrets about how I handled it as a player. And I think it's been informative for like the Dorian's journey moving forward. I think he has regrets about choosing vengeance over a possible way to save his brother. I think he failed, got hurt, and couldn't look past the failure to see what the next step could be to do something good. So I think when he goes to Keith and asks to find the body, that was just popped into my head because I had like this pathetic last hope that maybe she could save him somehow with this mighty magic that she possessed. If any way that could happen, but I don't know. His spirit waltzed off down the street with Morgana, so that's a pretty heavy narrative moment. I don't know, but it's weird to feel as a player the guilt of your character's actions, and I carried it around for like a couple weeks.
Oh, if it if it helps at all with Dorian's narrative drive or goals with this campaign, Keyleth and other people do have powerful magics that occasionally can restore life to those who have passed recently. However, in the wake of the solstice and all of the various ley lines being held and twisting and being tensed, a number of magics aren't functioning properly. One of which is resurrection magic on Alexandria. It functioned briefly
I was
on
ask, I was curious. That was the question I meant to ask you today that I had forgotten. I was wondering about that. So it worked on Ruidus.
Worked on Ruidus. Wow. Ruidus kind of operates under its own kind of magical ecosystem. And while it is like proximity affected by the ley lines for its own reasons, it's magic on Exandria proper that's being heavily, by proximity and by the ever like twisting ley line knots across the world right now that some magics start functioning, and resurrection magic is one of them.
So if potentially we break that connection and divine magic is still in effect, then we could use high level, like true resurrection sort of spells.
I mean, hey, but there are also, like I said, there are powerful druids and other creatures that are not based in divine magic that can also use these. And also, divine magic comes from sometimes non-divine sources. It can be based in strong, like an ethical code that presents itself as a source of power in a world that is suffused with magic. That's why there are paladins that don't necessarily worship a god. They, are just tuned to a specific oath or a particular way of living. Like, there's a lot of magic is interesting. A lot of the debate, which I enjoy in my mind, and kind of how Exandria's ecosystem works is, the classic idea of like D&D is, arcane magic is outside of the gods and divine magic is the gods. That is the classical idea. And to a facet that people might believe that on Exandria, but magic is magic. It's how it's filtered and utilized that really kind of defines its source. So who knows what would happen to divine magic if the gods weren't there? It could be catastrophic. It could be nothing. Who knows?
Look at Jester and the Traveler.
I know.
Right, yeah. See, there's all sorts of weird things. Well, also the rules of understanding of the world were defined by the gods. And as you're learning through unraveling some of those secrets, a lot of what you're told and what everyone has been told isn't always the truth. Because those that are in power, historically, get to write the truths of modern understanding. For good or evil. So that's a lot of fun stuff we get to unravel as the campaign progresses.
Who knows what will happen to Magic, and who knows what will happen to our favorite couple after Swordgate, baby. Drama, mama.
Speaking of like,
Yeah.
thinking about it constantly, you know, like living with those choices and going, oh, man. Yeah.
Why? What was the moment? Was it when you first saw it?
Warlock's gonna warlock, baby.
Listen, baby.
I don't know, side to the lady in my head. No, genuinely, like, similarly, none of this was planned.
Yeah.
Quite literally, because Laudna has, like, struggled being around powerful artifacts because she does have this, like, pulling force. And she's able to, like, kind of resist and, even with, like, the shard, when we got that, I was like, keep me away. Like, leave me away from this. And so when Orem just walked in with this sword on his back, I was like you always kind of have to reference back to like the patterns in your like behaviors before, and let them inform your choices. And I already was like uncomfortable. Like the fact that he pulled the sword out and went it and was like, oh, I'm practicing with the sword. I was like, this sword murdered all of us at some point in time, and it's in very much Laudna for an extended amount of time. So I knew I was gonna be like, ooh, that's an icky reaction, and it's a powerful weapon that he just went like, boop, into our 10 by 10 square foot room. And so I was just trying to be like, oh, Laudna sees that and gets uncomfortable. And then when you did the like, boom, boom, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. But I didn't know you were going to do, like, I didn't know. So I was just kind of trying to like, yes and then once again, and like, yeah, and it just kind of keeps going. And it was very genuine, like, is this sword bad? Like, how bad news is this? Is it, we've already dealt with sentient weapons gods knows how many times, not just in this campaign, but across Critical Role. And then knowing like that it was wielded by a very bad person. So that's how it started, was like, oh, is this an evil sword? And when Delilah was like, yeah, it's so bad.
Of course it's bad.
It's so bad.
Oh my God, it's so bad. You should just.
Yeah, and like and Laudna does have like a good intentions, paved to hell, and so that's why I kind of started with like, yeah, she would justify this by being like, I gotta help Orem, gotta get it away from him, but then it just kind of kept spiraling and spiraling.
And she's not seeing it get out of control.
No.
But you're talking about Delilah's influence, like gaslighting and all of that stuff. But I don't know. I'm not as familiar with that relationship as you guys are. Seemed like Laudna was steering the ship for the majority of that confrontation, if I'm being honest. Like, just from an outside perspective, it felt minimally influenced to me. But that's just me. I don't know how you feel about it, but that was my take on it.
I mean, it's a weird line to walk, It's a weird, like, symbiotic relationship, and then trying to ride that line of, like,
They are one, they're becoming one and the same at this point. Like, going up on the roof and seeing, like, the form of dread that you chose, madam, that was straight up Delilah, like, emerging from you, right?
Yeah. Which I, once again, just did that in the moment. I didn't, like, plan. I was just like,
no. It's like, yo, this
I think
this
it would
feels
just
right.
be this, yeah.
And just like you, Matt, like, talking with her to, like, it's the two voices at the same time.
So you're leaning into the darkness. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. It's four-sided die, baby.
I know. I gotta know.
Yeah.
As a player and in your RP, did you like it? Did it feel good to lean into the darkness a little bit? Because from my standpoint, it sure felt powerful being next to it. So did you like it? It's a safe space. It's a four-sided safe space.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a little nice.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, one, I will be like, I love the juicy choice when it comes to RP.
Sure.
Just because, like, yeah.
Sure.
I'm not playing this to play safe.
Yes. And I, like, from day one, knew what I was getting into with this character and knew that it could go down these paths. Also, it's funny that it happened to be Liam. Again, that irony wasn't.
I had to
lost on
explain
me.
Swordgate to like, Bowlgate to like
Bowlgate?
4 of the producers today. It was hilarious.
Yes, because so
For the producers, can you explain it to one of the me? What was Bowlgate?
So Liam and I had a moment in campaign 2, earlier on in campaign 2.
Yeah, it's like episode
Early.
17 or something.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
early.
So and
Our good buddy Mark Humes was guesting on that. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
and there was this bowl of like Tiamat or some shit, that Mark Humes character,
it was a ritual bowl.
a ritual bowl, yeah, Kaliana wanted. And early on, Mighty Nine, that first kind of run, we were all very secretive
Everybody
and
was keeping shit from
Not fully
us.
trusting of
not
each
trusting.
other.
yeah, for like a kind of a long time. Yeah,
Especially,
maybe too long.
especially Caleb.
Yeah,
Especially
Liam's
Caleb.
character,
Yeah.
Caleb is super not trusting.
So and he's playing this
Reason.
dodgy wizard who, once again, kind of, it was almost like the roles were reversed this time. He wasn't like a warlock, but he had these, the demons in his head were his traumatic past, and he was trying to like take as many powerful items to make himself more powerful for his own gains. So he like, without really consulting with anybody, was like, yoink, to this item that was like Mark Hulmes's
The crux
narrative
artifact.
item. And he had been doing this like,
My story beats.
yeah,
It was
pretty
amazing.
much.
Can you imagine just like taking one of your
In fairness.
and then destroying it?
Yeah.
Notes on fire. Yeah.
In
Jenny.
fairness, it wasn't that he was trying to take it for himself. I have to stick
Yeah,
up for
yeah,
my boy.
You're a Caleb apologist in Bowlgate? Nice.
I'm a Brian apologist because I'm trying to not let him kill my character in Curse of Strahd.
Fair enough.
No, but in just the lore, so what happened is it was a bowl that they were not sure if it was a good idea to let this stranger, Mark Hulme's character Kaliana, leave with it because it was an evil bowl used for evil things.
Totally.
He wanted to destroy it now. He wanted to just destroy it, have it done with. Bo wanted to wait and identify it, or it was reversed. I don't remember. One of them wanted to wait and identify it the next day. The other one wanted to just destroy it and be done with it. And y'all were and Caleb just grabbed the bowl and was like, "I'm gonna do what I want with it." And
That's the problem. It's about the
Yes.
communication.
again, I'm paraphrasing. Let me make it very clear. If
Yeah.
he didn't say, "I'm going to do what I want with it," please don't yell at me, internet. It was
Yeah.
a really long time ago.
We're
I'm sorry. I don't remember exactly.
And all
you
this
did something
kind
like
of-
that.
Revenge 5.5 years later.
Yeah, well,
That's-
so with Bowlgate, he was like, I'm gonna take it, which he had kind of kept doing repeatedly with items and being like, I'm making the executive decision without talking to the rest of the party.
Because he had identified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had
And very-
identified
Very Caleb would have got
in a very Caleb way. It was very,
He
yeah,
would
it was very
identify
much his
things
character.
And then keep the little paper that Matt would give him and not tell anyone what it said.
That's not Caleb, that's Liam.
That was
What are you talking about?
And all of us were like, what does it do?
And
So
so,
funny.
so there was this moment where, and then Bo's very dexterous where he's like, I'm gonna take it, and I just went yoink, and like had a keep away moment, and we got into a big fight over it.
It was
So
great.
yeah,
Yeah, and then Bowlgate came from the community being like, you could tell they hated each other in that moment. This was such dog shit. God, this is now you should never play. And we're like, no, it was just a really, really fun character moment. It was really funny.
which is why we made the fan, and like Liam and I took that picture after the game to be like, we're still cool, we're still friends, I promise. He is a really fun person to fight with though. and you, like, even you asking like, did it feel good? Like Travis afterwards, he was like, I was having I didn't want to like look at you, and I could like feel the like he was like, and your arguments were pretty strong.
Oh.
Oh, she
And,
doesn't.
like-
Don't debate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis and I felt like you were like one charged magnet, and him and I were the opposite charge, just slowly pushing away from you. Trying to be respectful, but
It's so
it's
good.
intense.
It's so good.
It's fun to have moments where you can just kind of be let off the leash.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But we sorted it out. We cruised on, and then
We sort of sorted it out.
sort of. We through a very bouncy, circuitous route full of bumbles and fumbles. We ended up in like a fan favorite-ish place of Aor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
What is the weight of Aor? Help me. What the
So-
weight?
Yeah.
I can feel it whenever you say the name.
Yeah.
So, a lot of Campaign 3 has a lot of facets of Campaign 1 and 2 coming to fruition. This is like a lot of long-term stuff that I've been building for the past 10 years, all kind of weaving together. And Aor is a very strong point in Exandrian history, where in this era called the Age of Arcanum, like the kind of the roaring 20s of Exandria's history, where like everything was up for the richest folk. You know, all the great mages and have these massive mage cities that they dislodged from the actual ground of Exandria and kind of vied for control and power. It was technically more advanced than current day Exandria. The modern day Exandria is almost like a post-apocalypse, societies kind of pulling out of that and are studying that past to try and catch up to it again in some spaces.
I can fully picture Aor with like Art Deco vibes now.
It's Art Deco meets brutalist is kind of how I envision it. Because it was Aor of all the different mage cities was like the most like Cold War Soviet kind of mage
It was
space.
function over beauty.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys did EXU Calamity, that took place before the Calamity, not in Aor, but in a similar type city, or?
Correct. In one of the competitive mage cities.
Got it.
To Aor, and was the city that its destruction basically began the Calamity, which was the end of that era, where all the gods kind of warred and battled. Most of society kind of collapsed or was buried, and everything had to kind of reset and climb from zero after that point, after the gods had left beyond the Divine Gate. So Aor was, at that time, the most powerful city in that world and had a lot of anti-divine culture and ideas around it. And they were developing secretly arcane technology that could destroy divine on a mass scale, like possibly kill a god.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they succeeded, tested it, and the gods all went, hey, I know we're fighting right now, but game off, and then went and destroyed Aor.
Sure.
And so Aor is considered like essentially a black box of the most powerful arcane knowledge that has been lost for a millennia, essentially.
Okay.
And has just recently been rediscovered in this frozen waste. And so in Campaign 2 was the introduction of the concept of Aor, and some facets of the end of Campaign 2 dealt with some of the emergence of this technology, but also a part of that ancient city that had been kind of ripped out of it in the moment of destruction and became its own weird mutant thing. We don't have to go into that for this. But since it was rediscovered, a lot of different factions have been fighting over ownership to get to this, what functional pieces of these ruins can we recover and reconstruct or repurpose or reuse. And Ludinus has been utilizing some of this tech after taking control of these ruins through the Cerberus Assembly to build up his plan in this campaign, which helped trigger the Apogee Solstice moment with the Malleus Key to lock the Moon Ruidus, to pierce through its defensive barriers and essentially bring all this to fruition. So the Aor from Campaign 2 is tied into his plans for Campaign 3. And now, because of those things, you are all now kind of falling into for different reasons, similar footsteps to the Mighty Nine in Campaign 2.
Yeah. Well, you get all these fun moments of sharing, a decade's worth of history and lore that you've crafted from the ground up, and it's really fun, even being a little bit in the dark, seeing you guys get those Easter eggs for yourselves and that you're giving as your players. But what I've really enjoyed watching is that even for someone who doesn't understand, it doesn't diminish the mystery of what's going on, but it makes it extra valuable for people who do know what's happening, who do have those little gasp moments.
Totally.
And never have you, I just never watch you as a GM go, and this is where this happened. You just describe it, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. So for me as a new player, I'm finding equal enjoyment in a different way of discovering it.
That makes me happy. That was actually a concern of mine in doing this, was wanting to make sure that for like you and even viewers of the campaign don't feel lost in this. I wanted to, go back to some of these places that we visited, but in many ways like re-describe them in a new way that feels familiar but still unique, and still make it feel as impactful and fresh for the perspective of Bell's Hells.
Yeah, because it's them seeing it as opposed to.
Yeah, what you guys are, and there are things have changed in the past 7 years since the Mighty Nine had their experience in Aor, and you're just now on the cusp of going to a whole new area.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. But yeah, so that's
That's if we survive.
Sure.
yeah, I guess so.
Tomb Takers didn't do too great.
No.
Not really.
Yeah, well, but you've extended your lore through different forms of media, through all sorts of stuff, and like that was one that I actually caught on to because of the books.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
read.
Because we read The Eyes of
Yeah.
Lucian,
Yeah.
and in that book, which
Shout out Maddie Root.
it's amazing. I really enjoyed reading that book because it gave you a perspective that maybe I don't know how much of it was in the campaign, but boy, I really felt for almost the Tomb Takers, almost more than the Mighty Nine, because it's their story.
Yeah.
They're the rivals, and you're watching two sides of a rival story. And one of my favorite moments from that book is when you lose a key player down in these sort of like, I don't know if it's the same location, but
That
like
was the same
it's same location, right? And that for me, reading the book was literally, I was like, I'm gonna take a break here. Because it was one of my favorite characters.
Oh,
and I was like, I'm gonna go have lunch. And then I'll come back.
And you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't know. No, I didn't know it was coming. It was the lady friend, Lucian's childhood lady friend, and I was just like, oh, it caught me in it. But it's a great moment. So I think even someone like me who's not as familiar with the previous two campaigns, who maybe got it in campaign 3 but wanted to catch up and enjoys the audiobooks, they're gonna get a little taste of that and be brought back in that way. It's really nice the way that it's all feeling crafted together. It's good.
I'm glad to hear that. That was the purpose of the book, was I had all this perspective of Lucian and the Tomb Takers. They were the villains at the end of that campaign.
Yeah.
And there's not a moment to convey their perspective to that depth. So I had
Yeah,
my
in
head
our brains,
all
they
the-
were just villains,
Yeah.
bad guys.
And they were. But with reasoning as to why they were doing what they were doing, and to a certain degree, especially with Lucian, victims of things beyond their control as well.
Sympathetic villains for
Yeah,
sure.
that was the intent. So I'm glad that worked out well. But all that peppers into the lore of Aor, because the Cognosa, the entity at the end of the book, the thing that kind of broke Lucian, that was one of the wards of Aor. It was one of the portions of the city that had kind of teleported itself out at the moment of its destruction, and didn't end up in the location it wanted to. It ended up in like this horrifying psychic storm in the astral sea that like basically destroyed and merged all the minds of the people that lived there, and then shattered their psyche that had to slowly reform over time. And the first entity that it really connected with that didn't lose its mind or go vanishing was Lucian.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting because at that moment, 3 years ago or whatever it was, that was your big bad. And now it's tangential. It's a lieutenant. It's something within the circle that there's something even bigger around every step. And it's a service to the world that you've created. It's enjoyable to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is really funny sitting next to you, Robbie, at the table.
What did I do? Did I have food
We'll
in my
have
face?
this.
Or- Oh,
We'll
okay.
have these moments where we will be like, oh, is that straight or oh? And I see you, and I can, because you're in my periphery, and so you're going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to see his face as he does it. Just
Why
Like,
do you
like,
think
what
I
are
built
you-
a low intelligence character?
They're
Easy.
yeah.
No thoughts, all just good vibes.
Yep.
And with that, it's time for questions from the Tower of Inquiry. If you don't know this game, one of us pulls a block, reads a number. Danny Parr reads us a corresponding fan question.
I do.
Yep, and we each get to give our answer. And if for some reason the tower should fall, there will be a cataclysmic consequence for the person responsible for its demise. Like we're talking 2012 John Cusack driving a limo through a collapsing building kind of awfulness. That's that's a reference, Gen Zers. Look it up.
wowzers, Kyle.
What's the jam? What's going on out there?
Pick somebody to pull a
I have to pick to do a poll?
You get to pick.
You have some making up to do. You did naughty.
Out of the gate.
So you're first. Yeah.
Well, it's a fresh tower, so.
Yeah. I'm hoping we can all get through one cycle and then you.
Yeah.
Oh, fresh tower, fresh
Fresh
tower.
tower.
Oh, I see.
Let's see.
Don't be a coward. Go for the outside.
Thank you. I feel like you're a player like me and Matt.
Yeah. Are we playing to win or are we playing to mess around? We're playing to mess around.
Look at this. All we're doing is making it stronger at this point.
Yeah.
Arches.
What is it? What is it?
8.
Mojo.
2,
That's
2,
okay.
2.
We'll make it precarious. That's the whole goal.
Aw, this one's on target. If your character could spend one last campfire evening with FCG after they sacrificed themselves for the party, what would you ask them? What would you want them to know? From Carl Jones.
Oh, Carl.
My God.
Carl, good question.
Okay, Carl.
Buddy.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh wait, why am I going over there? I have to do this
Yeah,
again.
you got more coming, girl.
Oh my
It's gonna be over
gosh.
here.
Here, you pull the block. You go first.
Yeah.
What would I ask them?
Wow.
Go if you're feeling it.
If you
Oh,
have an
sure.
idea.
I would want to know if there was any mission they would like us to complete, anything to finish for them.
Oh.
Which I feel like, you know, I mean, you can make assumptions, but I would want to know.
Or I ask you to find proof that Exandria is flat.
Oh God. Knowing Sam, that is
Knowing
probably
Sam,
That's
yeah.
exactly what he would say.
my goodness.
And then I would want him to know that I never once doubted that he was alive.
Yeah. You know. I think like kind of another thing that's been rattling around in the back of my head. I think FCG was such like a moral compass for the group and so grounding and kind of like saw the good in everybody for better or for worse. And I think that like faith he had in people, especially like Laudna, like helped keep her on the straight and narrow. And so I think I would want him to know that. Like, you're kind of a guiding post. Especially because, like, FCG, they also had their problems with flying off the handle.
Sure.
So it's like, oh, if this person can be, you know, still want to be the best that they can be, then I can meet that.
But not mention you fell off the Delilah wagon.
Well, yeah, well, yeah. I think that's what I would want them to know. I don't know what I would ask them. I'm still so curious about like all the Aor tech in the rooms and all of that stuff.
It kills me
That's
that
gone
we're
now.
in fucking
We're in
Aor.
Aor.
And we don't have
know.
CG.
And so close after they died. Like that kills me.
Kills
So
me
it
too.
feels like that's what I would want to know more of if they were still around.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I was like, it'll be very interesting to bring
FCG.
FCG into
Like
AOR.
what's going to trigger what memories are going to come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now you get to try and make
Yes.
those searches for yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
But isn't that the thing about losing someone though? You know, it's you deal with it in a million ways, but like for me, whenever that happens, it's losing the potential of the future. That's a tough thing to deal with more than anything. Like you can let someone go, but like the idea of what they could have been. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're 19 or 90. Like it definitely, it matters. Yeah. I just want to know if he ever had a dream. Did he ever have a dream?
Yeah.
He did?
He had a dream? I get to find my answer out? Yeah. Was it a wet dream? Just oil everywhere. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Did I ruin the moment? What did he dream about? What did he dream about? Did he ever tell you?
He's gone into a few people's heads and dreamt with them, and then had like his own dream that kind of like began to discover himself as a living being. He said he found faith with the change bringer and kind of like began to find a path That was pretty cool.
See, I get my answer from him through you guys from the beyond. Nice.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And that's how memory works.
Yeah, it's nice.
And that's how grief works. Is that you share them with the people that you lost with others, and that's how they live on.
CG. You go.
All right.
The begrudging scowl.
Show us how
was a
it's done,
game. What
Laura
am I-
Bailey. Show us how it's done.
It was my job to pick the people, right?
See how she sets this up to fuck us later.
I mean, that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
Laura knows the salmon.
It's already kind of a
I know it is a little wonky.
It's a wonky tower.
Good.
Oh, look
Good.
at that. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, your nails,
34. Oh,
nails
it matches
match.
the tower.
It's so pretty.
Look, Marisha, our nails together.
They do.
Our powers combined.
Fingering nails.
They planned. Everything on Social Roll is
The color of
planned.
the
You write it
blocks,
all in
the color
advance.
of both of your nails?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like, kind of
That's
couple of
sapphic
hairs.
culture.
Yeah.
All right, 34 from Haley Boothman.
Haley?
If you could ask any character from any campaign a question that they have to answer truthfully, who would you ask and what would the question be?
From any campaign?
Any campaign. It's a hard one.
I would ask everyone, are you secretly in love with me?
The answer is yes. I know this was a pre-campaign, pre-Critical Role even being in existence home game thing. Did Grog fuck a nymph?
no, he answered that.
He didn't fuck her.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, he
Yeah, it was in
answered
the
that.
campaign wrap-up.
And that's what memories are all about.
I still want to know. I still want to know what
lied to you.
happened.
Yeah.
Because he was he's still vague about what happened.
I was
she
there.
gave
I
her.
can tell you.
Oh, that's right.
No, it's not yours to tell.
That's true. You think Travis remembers
Yes.
Yes.
the
I
details?
do.
You think so?
Yeah.
Did he? Yes. He's held it over our
Yeah,
heads
he-
for 12 years.
I thought I was holding over
Bro,
your head as a joke.
Think
but he
about
might
it,
actually
like
remember.
Travis knows.
That's true. He does have the weird trap memory.
Yes, and I feel like
Both of you, you and him do.
he knows so much more lore about Exandria than, I mean,
He and I are always having, I feel like he and I are always mind melding whenever Matt says something and I'm
Yeah.
freaking out and he's freaking out
I'm so
20
proud of
seconds
him.
before me because of the delay.
Oh, I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. Well,
he just plays dumb characters.
my answer still stands.
Fair enough.
What happened?
I'd ask Chetney what he was doing in his 20s. I want to know what Chetney was doing in his 20s.
Jenny was just total nerd.
What?
I think Jenny was just like a
He's a
total
reformed
a
nerd?
total
Oh,
geek.
reformed.
Yeah.
I think Chetney's path goes from like absolute nerdy kind of general, maybe self-imposed social outcast for a long time, and then went to full pickup artist.
Yeah.
Weirdly-
I think once he got old enough, then he stopped realizing oh, it doesn't matter anymore.
Like
Pickup
really,
artist is, yeah.
because that pipeline is very true.
He
It's
took an
terrifying.
online. He took an online course.
Yep. Some
Read
dude
a
in
book,
Vegas and
yeah,
like
some-
a big
Some
leather
dude
coat.
in a top hat. Yeah.
I think he started realizing what's the worst that could happen. They
Yeah.
say yes.
Yeah, he went to Kymel and just started wandering the streets and negging people. Yeah, that sounds like
that's funny.
that sounds like a Chetney experience.
Yeah.
All right, I'm supposed to pick 2 to 3 of you, and I'm giving myself a pass. It's you.
Valid.
Pull the next one.
Yeah.
Pull the next one.
all right. Let's see what
Set
we
it
can-
up good so that the next group gets fucked.
Yeah, last question.
That's fair.
That these plan.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Oh, that's a dicey play. I
Oh,
love
do it, Matt.
Oh, I love it.
Quickest
What
power
happened?
drop ever!
Bring out the flog.
Oh my god!
Can't believe it.
No, that was full
I
confidence.
I may have been overconfident.
Wait a minute,
Hubris. What do we do to you?
that
Hubris!
matches the tower too.
It does!
Do you get 20 spankings? What's the plan? 30? 30 spankings?
Come on, baby.
All right.
We won't know till the game. Oh yeah, you have to open the box.
I have the question ready. So
Okay.
go to the consequences box and look at the
I've
consequences.
never done this yet. All right.
I was so confident in him too.
I
He had so
know.
much swagger.
I was like, it's not going down this episode.
No, it did.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
What's it gonna be?
You'll find out.
Okay. Oh, after we do
the question.
It's part of the block C.
Okay, question
okay.
first.
Okay.
Kyle, you did this.
This is a Kyle.
Dang
What's the
it.
question?
That's on me. I got too confident.
I loved it.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Golly gee willikers.
This one is very timely. I keep wanting to say prescient, but I can't remember if that's like the correct
word?
definition of that word. So I'm just gonna go with timely. From Ellie's Gay Machete on Tumblr.
Ellie's Gay Machete is a
Nice.
great
Oh,
name.
I get it.
That's
I got
great.
it. Yeah, it took me a second.
Yeah.
How do you decide on updates to official character art?
Oh.
How do you determine what to keep, what to change, and what new things you'd like to add?
That's a great question, actually.
Right?
Updated our outfit.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Ellie's Gay Machete.
Yeah, talk about your outfits while I go through your tankards and take out the questions I had about your outfits. Don't mind me.
How do we decide what we keep and what we
Get to see
don't?
that, or is it a surprise?
I don't know. We'll find out. Continue, please.
It'll be revealed in Block C.
Oh boy.
I feel like everybody's different with how they approach it.
Well, I thought
Yeah.
mine was gonna come before you guys.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
then
was.
it just like
Yeah, it was meant to be maybe in the half and half episode.
Yeah.
And then it was so emotionally impactful. It felt bad to be like, guess what though? Our brother's dead, but look at my new shirt. Yeah, so like it was scary for me because we were talking about RPing and builds.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
my idea, that's what I thought was happening. I gave Dariax all my shit. I gave him my loot, I gave him my sword, I gave him like everything to defend myself with. And then when the Fern fight was going down, I thought we were gonna jump in and I was gonna play it legit. No base armor class, fisticuffs, like in my undies, and I'm so glad that it never happened. But when it came to designing the art, it came hand in hand with your coming back to the show. We wanted to give you an upgrade. And I'm so stoked that it got to be with everyone.
Yes.
I think that
was
felt
the right way.
really
Yeah.
good. It didn't steal anyone's thunder. It wasn't anything like that. It felt like honest. It was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so we worked. The artist is fantastic.
Hannah.
Yeah,
out.
so amazing.
She's so good.
And
Hannah.
yeah, and
Hannah,
we worked.
shout out.
We worked together for like a couple weeks, and we started with some base ideas. I had some ideas, and then just bing, 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 and then we landed where we were, and we were going with the idea that like my favorite adventure trope is that by nearing the end, they're just carrying around little vestiges and trinkets from their journey, and it feels so good. And then it feels like the outfit that you end up at the end is just like meaningful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And sexy as fuck.
that's an obvious prerequisite.
Yeah.
Must be hot.
Yeah.
Dude, you're full like, what's that? Scott, the male figure skater from the Kyle.
I wasn't going for male's figure skater vibes,
no,
but
you got it. You
Hamilton,
Sure.
Hamilton.
Scott Hamilton.
I don't know why you knew that.
Right?
I knew what you were talking about, Marisha. I don't remember his name though.
Well, one of the
Yeah,
things,
good.
one of the
He
conversations.
would wear like the
Yeah.
see-through mesh
Yeah.
One of the conversations I've had the most on the road the last 2 years, and my limited time on this show, one of the most impactful moments was when Dorian basically like reclosets himself, which was like really intentional on my part, where he throws the chiffon outfit away and becomes what he doesn't want to become. So when I was out meeting all these awesome critters, it's probably the #1 moment that gets brought up in panels and like face to face. So something about it was impactful, but I want people to feel safe again with the character. So I was like, how can I bring this back in and not take all of my armor away? So I had a big discussion with Abria, and she was like, I think at this point you would have armored up to have at least one more hit point. So we looked for, or one more hit point on your AC. So we
Yeah.
looked for an item that seemed fair and not OP, that we could like fake into the gear that still played within the mechanics of the build. And that's
Yeah.
what we landed on, like the
Mithril,
mithril-esque
shirt.
chiffon shirt.
That's
Yeah.
I love
so
it.
cool.
Yeah, and it still fit all of the what do you call it, proficiencies and everything, and it was still good in the build. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's been one of my go-tos with Hannah since level 1 has been sheer. I like the image of just, I don't know why, I just really want like chiffon.
Yeah.
You were in like short rider shorts for a while,
I was
though,
in
right?
hot pants
Yeah.
with a sheer overlay.
Oh, okay. I didn't see
Thank
that.
you very
Okay,
much.
great.
Yeah.
You got to keep the booty warm with the chiffon, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then even like this level, I was like, I want Imogen, she's like hardened. I want her to feel more battle ready. I want her to feel like she's like shedding some of that like innocence. So that's why I made her like in the blacks and like more armory sort of a vibe, but I still
touch
wanted
your
it sheer.
No?
Touch your share.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's some like kind of a communal feeling during a campaign when people want to like switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there's been enough moments of like character development, and there's maybe a shift in tone or a shift in location,
Yeah.
or there's a lot of things come together at a certain point in the campaign where all of us kind of communally start going,
It is time.
Seems
maybe
right.
it's time, like maybe we should update character looks to kind of help best express where they are now as opposed to where they've been for the past so and so episodes. And so it isn't like we're talking, all right, so by this point we're gonna change, and then like next year at this point we're gonna change. It's not planned. We just all kind of at one point go, hey, we should start talking about it.
Our emotions have changed. Our
Yeah.
intents have changed. We should probably update. And this one came because we wanted to be able to incorporate FCG into our looks, and keep him with us as we moved forward. And so I think everybody wanted to bring a part of him, and like whether it be his colors or his armor or something, into the designs.
Yeah, when you show the designs, and I got the vibe that that's where it was going in game, I was like, oh, I would like to participate. How? And then I was like, but then you gave us the opportunity to RP it. So we had the craft section. I was like, oh, got it. I'll just do.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great.
And so it can still be representative, but like everybody knows it's there.
Yeah.
So if you see a cosplayer do it, or you see someone and they pay attention to those details, which they absolutely do.
For sure.
It's the best.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then Laudna, just full on like Delilah vibes.
Yeah.
I love the cage.
The cage.
The rib cage?
No, well, the rib cage and the skirt cage.
Skirt cage.
Not like a,
Yeah,
not
which
a
is-
petticoat, but like that.
They call them cage skirts.
Cage skirts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then that's good. Yeah, back in the day, they would use them to like fleef you out.
God.
So
But
cool.
yeah.
But yours is on the outside. You're Superman. You're wearing your underwear on the outside.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the original idea was like, since Delilah is becoming more influential, like to have her. I think I told Hannah like, I want to have almost this like blueprint, almost like a framework of Delilah, but it's still Laudna. I mean, it's so tricksy. Like you said, it's always like things that you've collected along the way in the campaign and things that have influenced you that you want to incorporate, but then also still staying true to like the look and style of the character and kind of keeping like their silhouette, and all of that goes into things and then factor. And then once again, I didn't know where we would be when we revealed this, and so it just kind of worked out really well when I kind of dropped in like, oh, she was kind of in like a fugue state when she was making her outfit, and was kind of like, what did I just make? Is kind of a way to try and show that she was, that Delilah was kind of a little bit in control when she was doing
Built
that.
your own cage around you.
Yes.
That's the fun thing
Correct.
too, is like everyone kind of creates these designs for the new characters, but we don't really discuss when it's going to be happening.
Yeah.
And it'll just come up naturally. Or, I had two different plans of where like this could happen, and it kind of happened naturally during the time in Zadash, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like the brief moment was like, oh, we're doing this now? Yeah, we're doing this now. Like so many other things in the game, it's all just kind of going in the mood, and me making plans and then throwing them out, and it's great.
Well, thank you, Carl Jones, Haley Boothman, and Ellie's Gay Machete. And if you're out there and you have a question for our Tower of Inquiry, you can enter it at critroll.com/tower. And we'll build a fresh one for you next time. How about them apples?
Yeah.
I can't wait to find
That
out what
was
happens
the
to you.
fastest collapse I've ever seen.
It was,
Yeah.
like I said, we wanted to up the stakes a little bit. I just did it poorly.
Hubris.
Hubris. I fall to it on occasion.
All right, it's time to slide into deep dive. Danny, can we get some tanks?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Danny.
Of course, you can have some tanks.
We're gonna go around. We're gonna take turns, points with questions.
Hey, tanks.
And
Thank you, Lou.
You're welcome.
you went first last time. I don't know. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. You know what? I gave
so
myself
sleepy.
a pass in the last game. I'll go first.
You
How about that?
Go
Do
for it.
In the game where there's no consequences.
Yep.
How does Dorian feel reunited with Bell's Hells, especially Orm Fern, after being guided by the Sending Stone messages? Also talk to us about paying for Orm's new threads.
Yeah, talk to us about that, Robbie.
It was a moment. It felt right. Yeah, it was all my money. He wanted it so bad. I saw it in his little eyes. He wanted it.
Get your girl that Coach purse.
I know. I thought about
Who cares if you can make rent?
Oh, I definitely can't make rent. I got a pocket full of silver and some ruby dust. That's it, baby. And I gotta save them both. I know. Blowing it out of the ground. It's flair.
So good.
Ice skater flair. The path that we got here with being reunited with Bell's Hells is the best because it followed a personal path for myself because I got to experience the parting of EXU Crown Keepers, which was crazy. And then coming back to you guys, it felt like coming home, but time had passed. And in your worlds, that time had passed, and in our worlds, time had passed. So I think the way that it unfolded for me felt really natural. And by the time that we get our first few episodes back together, it was just like putting on an old glove. Felt nice. It was good to be back with you guys. You create such an easy environment to be around that. The idea of like sometimes people go like, were you scared to go? And I was like, no, they're what you see is what you get. They're nice people. So it's been the best. And seeing Orm and Fern, we found some time to make those moments. Yeah. And being guided by the Sending Stone messages. I felt the guilt of not being able to answer them, but from what I understand, it was a magical problem.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So I never got them. Thanks for that pass.
I figured that was easier than me having to answer for you or the other side of that for a while. Though I do like the idea of that ability coming back and all of a sudden like a bunch of old messages like heading back with
Amazing.
Oh my God, it's
We're
Orm.
gonna die. Everything's okay, but I miss you.
53 messages. But yeah, no, it's just the best. What an absolute blast. And I'm so excited for the future.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the best.
It's so good to have you back.
Good question.
Which way you want to go?
You.
That's a big one. Uh-oh. What does Imogen think of everything going on with Delilah and Wanda? You know, okay. So, speaking of like, we didn't know where things were gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't know where that conversation on the roof was gonna go.
Nope.
Certainly didn't plan for it to end the way that it did, in this confusing halfway sort of, I don't know. Here's the thing. We talked about the parallels with Liliana.
Yeah.
And seeing somebody that you love and have the most extreme hope for and think that they're going to be there for you. And then seeing Liliana, like, her hopes have gone up and down and up and down and up and down with that relationship. And then finding that connection with Liliana on the moon and realizing right before we were about to head home that, oh, fuck, no, you're in too deep. You know, like, I can't, no matter what I want, I can't trust this relationship. And then to come back and kind of echo that again with everything going on with Delilah. And it's not that I think that Laudna will make the same decisions, but to say, I think you're in too deep, I think she's using you, and for Laudna to continue to say, yeah, but,
Yeah.
you know, it kind of gets to this place that it feels, I don't know, not hopeless, but like you're making your choice then. And I don't want to end this by any means, but if your choice is to say like, I'm gonna choose that over you, you know, it's a hard, and I've been replaying that fucking conversation in my head nonstop since we had it.
It was brutal.
Yeah, and thinking about like, well, but like, Imogen still wants to be there. It's not like I want to abandon Laudna. And we did talk about how both of us were going to explore, you know, getting the power that we needed to go to that end game. And now, like, Imogen has this full fucking regret happening because I feel like I abandoned you in that. You know, like I should have gone farther with Predathos, and then you wouldn't be there by yourself with Delilah. You know, so. It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, it's Trixie, man.
Yeah, and it's hard seeing somebody that you love not find themselves worth more.
Yeah.
To be able to pull away from it.
Yeah. Well, I think you said, I think after like the cool down, like in the cool down after one of those episodes was like, oh, it's like being with an addict. Yeah. And it's like, yes, correct.
Oh my God.
You know, and even like Laudna, like I think Laudna is so conflicted because yeah, she was like, I thought we said we were gonna like embrace the power. I'm doing that. And then also just feeling conflicted like every time Imogen is like, you lied to me. Because it's like, no. And once again, kind of like in an addict's perspective, I think like obviously when an addict is like, I'm clean, I'm good, this is it, I'm not falling off the bandwagon that time. They're not lying when they say that. Like that can be, all things can be true at once, which is like, yes, it is true that you're saying that in that moment, and in that moment it is the truth. But it is also the truth that there will probably be this like lifelong struggle for forever. You know, that you're kind of intertwined with. So, and yeah, and in that way, and like, especially like Marisha above the table, where it's like, oh, I wouldn't date me. Like, and not in like a way like in that, it's Trixie, and I want to like choose my words carefully. Like, Laudna is deserving of love just as like anyone else who struggles
100%.
In that way entirely.
And deserving of support.
And deserving of support.
And it's not a direct metaphor. Laudna's not on drugs. You're possessed by an evil demon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be
There
clear.
is a wide...
It is not a direct metaphor at all.
But I think those kind of creative narrative metaphors that are sometimes thinly veiled, we can still embrace the reality of what's happening in that moment, which is... That's bad business.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, and at what point do you have to like be there? And then I think like I keep thinking back to when it was just the way you said it that I was like, ugh, where I was like, you still love me, right? And like Laudna is doing in that moment where it's like, you know, when you're like, when you fucked up and you're in a fight.
And it's instant.
And you're like,
of course I still love you.
I love you. Do you still love me? And you were like,
of course
I will always love you.
Yeah.
And there's the way you said it was like, I'll always love you, which is like, once again, objectively true. But at what point in like what I keep thinking about with Imogen and what I think Laudna wants as well, where it's like at a certain point, like you have to protect yourself too.
Right.
You know, and I want you to protect yourself. And I think that's where like Laudna keeps being like, you know, I care about you enough to say like, yeah, this could be bad news and you
Fully
deserve
somebody
so
going,
much.
stop.
Yeah,
away,
let me
get away. Yeah,
let
I'm
me
gonna
try to
fuck this
protect
up.
you from myself. Yeah.
I wonder if your next question will be apropos to
It
that
might
scenario.
be. It might be. I also love that you're fully having like a, oh fuck, I'm dating my dad moment with Lana.
Oh no.
Dude,
Oh shit.
how did I do that?
Yeah,
How did I
but
do that?
nobody
How did I
ever
not
does that
realize
in real life. It never happens. Never.
The Chavas, they just keep repeating.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
break the circle, I believe it.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, yeah. What did Lana expect when she returned to the group after Swordgate? How does she feel given the kindness she was given? Yeah, I mean, like, obvious, like, Lana's tragic flaw is self-worth. It always has been. And you know.
Wait, lack of or
Yeah, like
okay.
lack of struggling with the idea of self-worth. And even like the idea of like, I think she's having a hard time believing when the group keeps being like, Delilah chose you. You were already special. Like, this is not, because in Lana's head, she's like, it was just coincidence. I happened to die. She was like, I was in the blast radius. I had a little bit of magical essence and it was fully coincidental. And so it's like trying to battle with like, no, I'm not, nothing about me is special. I was, you know, it's a fluke that any of this happened. Where I was going, well, yes, why, what did she think? I mean, even like everyone trotting through Delilah's little like mind palace to get Laudna back. She's like, I'm not
through Delilah's mind palace to get Laudna back.
to save
Sounds
me.
great.
Yeah. And even after that, I think Laudna had such guilt of like, you guys went through so much, I'm not deserving of that. And like, so now I think so much of that is like coming back again, which is like, I think she walked in there being like, well, I'm gonna face the consequences. And if they want me to like go my separate ways and, you know, obviously I will prostrate myself on the ground and hope that people are still wanting to go through this. But like, yeah, I think it's such a dangerous mix of someone who has like such low, I mean, it's kind of in a way with FCG too, like where you have such like, but his was a different brand where your low self-worth in yourself becomes like dangerous because you're just like that much more of a loose cannon in a way.
So is that the answer for the hope is hope? That is what Laudna wants, is even though she knows her flaws, she wants the hope that she could be all right? I'm not putting words in your mouth, I'm just sort of trying to distill it a little.
Yeah, I think she hopes that, one, she can get through this without losing the only good things in her life, which is obviously all of her friends. And I think she has a very thin hope that like, maybe after all of this, then we can finally address like getting rid of Delilah in a very final way. But yeah, I think at this point it's like, don't hate me when I do bad things.
It's all for you.
I swear
doing
it's
it for
all for you. Yeah, kind of.
I mean, it is.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah. It's just if you lose yourself along the way or not, you know?
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're doing it all for us by answering your question.
I should do that. Okay.
Let's go. Let's see what we got.
Robbie, the host with the most.
I know.
I know, right?
I
Right.
think he's the best
You're a
host we've
good
had
host.
on Foresight.
Don't say that to the
probably
23 others.
It's always us.
Yeah, most of the
23
time
others
it's
were
us.
just
Then
them.
it's fine.
If it's not
Matt.
us, it's a Bria.
Tell us everything about Odahan Full right now, please. I'm gonna save that for campaign wrap up.
No! Damn it, I tried.
You tried. You tried.
Good try, good try.
I
Now I'm sad.
Matt, you brought back quite a few familiar faces from the Mighty Nine campaign, like Pumat Sol and Avideshin, not to mention Essek and Astrid. What was it like to return to those characters? It was. I mean, it's always fun. There's always a balance to strike. For one, there's some other facets of it too with campaign 3. Like, when will I ever have the opportunity to dovetail facets of multiple campaigns in the same world in the same time period together in ways that I can both delight my players at the table with new fun characters that you haven't experienced before, or characters that were beloved from old storylines, but come at them with a fresh perspective and engage with them in a unique way, even if it's just for a moment. It's the little cameos. Like, I don't get a chance to do that much at all in any game, so I'm gonna embrace that to a degree when it makes sense in the narrative. And a lot of it isn't me going, I'm gonna bring in these characters, it's me following the thread of logic. With things pointing towards Aor, they're gonna need somebody to take you to Aor. Right now, Caleb is busy. The only other person that's not busy with what he's doing right now, who knows Aor, would be Essek, who I was like, well, that's logical. That means I probably get to bring Essek in. That'll be fun. Who would be functionally trusted-ish on the Caleb side that would know about the Cerberus Assembly.
I love trustish.
I know.
Accurate though?
Yeah.
Would be Astrid, who's a member of the Assembly from the end of the last campaign, but is their own kind of dubious figure with a history tied to Caleb Widowgast and, by connection, Essek. And so, like, all these threads of logic kept leading me
They
to.
both have had sex with Caleb.
Matt and who?
Matt.
Oh, got it. I got mixed up for a second.
My imaginary characters get a lot. But yeah, it was just following the thread of logic and being like, okay, this has the possibility of being a lot of back-to-back cameos. I have to try and make them, meaningful and not over the top. I don't want to ever overshadow your journey or your characters, so I can give like little perfunctory moments of them kind of playing up and being fun, but also once again underline that this is your story and your narrative. And that was fun. Let's move on to the next thing. And so even Essek's like definitely like he's guiding you through Aor, but letting you experience it as he's just kind of pulling you through on a thread, being like, we're in business mode. I don't know who you are, but I've been given a task. So let's try and get through here, okay? And you immediately wandered off and started going to the amphitheater. He's like, oh, twice I've been here with groups and they've both been idiots.
To be fair, that's a pretty shiny big red button.
Of course.
Yeah.
All of Aor is. That's why it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
He gets it. But yeah, no. So it's been a lot of fun to return to it. There is an internal concern of making sure it doesn't overshadow the moment or the players and become too like, and then remember this thing, I don't want to be too member berries either. It was fun, but only because it logically made sense to the story and I got to move on quickly from those moments. So, yeah.
We're gonna do a couple of rounds of this, right?
Yeah.
Is it cool if I pull another one?
Let's go.
All right. Well, stay in
only one
stay in the
round.
same
we need
order.
at least two more.
Let's do two more. So yeah, we can be more concise.
Yeah, we can do a lightning round.
There's
we feel.
big things to talk about.
Of course,
It's called deep dive though. That felt pretty deep.
Yeah.
What does Dorian think of everything going on with Laudna? Does he truly trust her? Trustish her? Does Dorian everything going on with Laudna? Oh man. I think about Laudna a lot.
Enough about you. What do you think about me?
What about you? What do you think about?
Enough about me. What do you think about me?
Yeah, there it is. Cool. You did great though. I don't know. I feel like there was some early bonding with Laudna in the start of the campaign, and then seeing her in the state right off the bat was pretty disconcerting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It automatically made me retreat to Orym. Which I feel like is one of my stronger bonds in the game. Orym, Chet, Fern, and then like Ashton to a certain extent, maybe Maud, but I've been waiting to bring it back. Oh, you played right into it.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, it was scary. It was genuinely a scary moment, and it was confusing for Dorian.
I felt so bad when I was like, you don't know what you speak or whatever I said. I like clapped at Dorian.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
but
Villain moment.
I know.
But it's true,
felt so
and he copped to it
bitchy.
immediately.
Yeah.
So I think of a lot of them, Dorian's kind of figured out who he is.
Yeah.
So
You also just saw this happen with Opal.
yeah, we got a little flashback.
There's
Sorry,
still
not
a
to-
lot
not
to
to
unpack
bother
with
Yeah,
Dorian.
no, you're right. What?
There's still a lot to unpack with Dorian, because you definitely came back into the campaign and when you were like, yeah, my brother died and Opal got possessed by a spider queen, and by the way, this was all yesterday, but it's fine.
Yesterday.
Don't worry about it. Once again, enough about me. What's up with you? And we haven't really talked about it.
Dorian is a master compartmentalizer. I think
Yeah.
always has been since the beginning. So I mean, like, and whether those moments present themselves or not, I don't know if it matters. But if they do, there's stuff there. His compartments are full. You know, we had a small moment where somebody checked in with me, and I was just like, oh, I'm a piece of shit too. I'm a big fat mess, but it doesn't matter right now. That doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah.
I love his compartments are full. Like, what happens to the compartmentalizer when they're...
You turn into FCG, your stress points.
Yeah.
Your eyes turn red and you attack everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not in this new scenario. I think it really was just genuine caring and confusion of why we all weren't going out to help. Like, I had top table knowledge of why, but like I had to point it out as Dorian, because Dorian would be confused. Yeah. It's like, why aren't we all going out there to help her? Why is it just a one-on-one scenario? Yeah. And then that's how I got to find out about your relationship and it all. We've got to put the pieces together. So, yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's your turn.
In my turn.
Same order? Same order. Yeah. Keep it going. Why not? Yeah.
Imogen says, this is, I kind of answered this. How is she feeling about her mom since the attempted assassination? I kind of already answered that.
A little bit, yeah.
Right. Do another one. Do another one. No.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I got a question.
How are Laudna and Imogen, well, this is for both of us.
Okay.
How are Laudna and Imogen handling FCG's sacrifice and the hole left behind by his absence? Again, we kind of already talked about it.
Yeah, the tower question kind of covered it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm running out of questions. Oh, this is my last one.
those tower questions were really good.
They were.
Questions.
Okay.
I honestly wonder how much.
Oh, no, I answered this one too. No. I'm talking too much, apparently. How did Imogen feel about her mom finally turning away from the Ruby Vanguard? Did she truly want her to return to Exandria?
Yeah,
I talked about it.
We'll keep talking about it.
Talk more about it.
You said you definitely chose to not trust her to come back with you.
Yeah.
But the question was, did you really want her to go back with you?
Yes. In my heart of hearts, when like I finally convinced her to like talk to us and trust us, that she was gonna just say goodbye to all of that and follow us, and then she was gonna be with us and help Keyleth, and she was gonna be, you know, the tide that turned the... No, and no,
I mean,
it got to that. I mean, it could still be.
It could have been. It was your choice.
No, I know that. But you and I talked about that after the game. There was that moment, and like hearing her talk, it was that trust. Like, I don't trust that she would actually help us. As soon as she got to the other side and she heard everybody talking about what the actual plans were and what we were gonna do, it could have erupted into, and I mean, it could have been wonderful. She could have like been de-indoctrinated or whatever you call it, but I think having been 20 years with Ludinus.
So wait, in Imogen's history,
Yeah.
how long has Mom been out of the picture?
Mom disappeared when I was like a toddler.
Itty bitty.
Itty bitty.
Yeah.
She hasn't been with Ludinus that long.
Right.
But she's been away for that long.
Yeah.
Right. She left originally, from my understanding, she left originally to learn more about what was going on with, because I had very bad dreams about Predathos, about this entity, without realizing that's what it was.
Yeah.
She was having the same sort of things. She left to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and she started to feel some of these powers apparate in her, and she was scared of what, I mean, she, from my perspective and from her perspective, she began to feel these like powers emerging of her Ruidusborn innate powers, but she kind of kept them hidden and was like, what is going on? And she had these dreams to Predathos and like the calling of the Ruidusborn towards the Red Moon. And then the minute that Imogen, her daughter, began to have these dreams, it was like, fuck, I need to figure this out because this scares me and I don't want this to happen to you. And so she began to follow a path of research and trying to reach out to people that study Ruidus and study the history of this, like what's happening to me, why am I imagining this, what's the tether, and became like part of a kind of a small scale secret research team like across Exandria that were like studying these other people that were having these connected dreams. Like the rate of Ruidusborn birth had been escalating like exponentially in recent generations, and people were like, they don't know why, but we're also scared to talk about it publicly or on a large scale because people will misuse this and abuse this. And so it's been this kind of like secret research plot that she got caught up with as probably one of the most powerful Ruidusborn that was like emerging as like oh, she's going to be the focus of the study because she's doing shit that none of us really expected. And that's how she got pulled in with Ludinus, who became like, well, we can talk more about the details of their history maybe down the line. But yeah, that's how she more or less got tied in with
And then
Ludinus.
I started having all of the same sort of emerging powers, but didn't have any clue about what was happening because she'd already left and hadn't left any information. So I thought I was alone in all of it.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting hearing you talk about like your wants and desires for what you want your mother's actions to be, because I think that's a very intrinsically like child thing
100%.
to want, especially for one who maybe didn't have the experience of even growing up with a parent.
there was, in her dreams, her mom would talk to her. Her mom would find her in the dreams.
Oh, that's good.
So she would always hear her mom's voice guiding her to safety.
Yeah.
telling her to run.
Telling her to run away from this storm that was chasing her. So in her mind, her mom was her savior, right? Her
Right.
mom was the thing that was going to be,
But then you get confronted with the reality.
and she's
And
not.
well, I think that's an interesting thing, not to go too deep into it, but this is a deep dive, right? That I think a lot of adults experience at some time in maturity, regardless of their relationship with their parents, where they realize that their parents are people too. And I think that's a weird moment that a lot of young people don't get to, and it takes a little bit of empathy and maturity to realize, oh shit, my mom's not just my mom. They're living the same rich, full life that I live.
Yeah.
And then they're an independent agent. And as you get older, your kids aren't always your first priority. You're living your own life. And that's a choice that you can make as a parent. So it's interesting to have Imogen have that experience with her own mom. Yeah.
And I can't say that your choice with your mother, which one was right, or if either of them were right. But I love how many facets of this campaign I have been in and will hope to continue to put in your hands as players that will drastically alter how things go.
Sure.
And as a GM, my favorite aspects are like building out all the pieces and setting out all these things up, and then at certain moments when it feels right, to be like, so, which domino set do you want to knock down?
Yeah.
You know, it's fun.
And it's hard as a player outside of the game, like to go, I feel like this is gonna be the coolest, the strongest thing, but also you have to think about what your character would be doing in that moment. Would they make that decision? Because like, you can try to finagle it to make sense for your character, you know, like you can do the workaround and go,
Yeah.
I can find motivation. You tell me to get to point B, I'll find a reason to get there. But does it make sense? Is that the choice that I would have made?
Yeah.
I think it was the right choice because it feels like everything would have to be like perfect for that to not backfire.
Yeah.
Like if she did come and join our sides, and even if like on the best side of things, like everything's hunky-dory and she's all in, she's still connected to this like hive mind, which like could see everything she's doing. Or like you said, she gets there, she's like, what the fuck, gets conflicted, and then like ripcords
And then
with a
has
ton of information.
all of our
Has
information.
all of our information. I still think that there, like, I just feel it in my bones, like Liliana is gonna play like a really massive part in whatever this end game
Very
is.
Gandalf to Gollum of you.
Yeah.
I immediately
100%.
I immediately see your wheels turning, looking to subvert your expectations.
We'll see.
What do you got?
Okay.
You also run through all of your questions.
I did. But this one's kind of important because it has a big caveat. How are Imogen and Laudna doing now?
That's the answer.
What did Imogen mean by saying she will miss their cottage? Did they break up? Say psych right now.
Say psych right now.
So,
we have had this conversation.
We did.
What just happened?
yeah, we literally, can I say this?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we left and went into the lobby after that moment, and both Laura and I went, did we break up?
Did that just happen without either of us intending for that to be what happened?
Yeah, it feels very rocky right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see a smooch at some point before I believe the love is back on.
It feels
Yeah.
very like,
Just make it. Should we make out right now?
Not right now, not you two. You're
Sorry, I understand.
Took a turn. It's not the deep dive I intended.
let's get those views.
Spoken like the true creative director. Of the
Yeah,
show.
whatever. It'll pop off on TikTok. But yeah, true. It feels very much like we're not broken up, but we are taking a break. It feels kind of like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want this to end, but did it end? You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels. Yeah, it just feels very uncertain.
Very
uncertain.
Yeah.
Like our.
Yeah.
Lay it on us, Matt. What do you got in your cup?
And then even like the next day, you were like, I sleep farther away, and I was like, reached for your hand when I was sleeping, and I was like, it did.
But y'all
Yeah.
take your hand.
It
We're
felt
holding
cold, but it
hands.
always feels
Yeah,
cold.
it always feels cold.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Ooh, I love it. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
It's really hard not making all your questions about Essek. So hey, Matt, just talk to me. I mean the audience about Essek. How is he?
How is he? Oh, that's a great one.
Essek?
That's a great lightning
I was
round
gonna say this
one.
other question. Another question was, what was it like to have Essek and Astrid face off in that interrogation? I'm like, I already answered that question, and this one's also about Essek. I'm like,
Look, at least I admitted it.
no, it's valid. It's valid.
Sometimes the brain worms eat the brain. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, Essek's he's doing pretty good. He's been enjoying the quieter life for a while. He's kind of, he's not like actively hunted by the dynasty, but he's definitely under heavy investigation and has been for a while.
He's on a list.
He's on a list, and
Yeah.
so he's been enjoying laying low for a number of years with
Growing
Caleb.
green beans.
Yeah, and so he's been like helping him out with his teaching. He's also been like off doing his own little research projects, kind of outside of Dynasty perspective, helping out where he can, where it feels safe. That's where kind of his illusory persona comes from. Is he's kind of worked along with some members of the Cobalt Soul, helped out with Beauregard probably on a few things as this character, and it's kind of built this kind of alternative persona to still do some things in the world where he feels he can safely do so. But yeah, like he's doing okay. Personally, all this is scaring the hell out of him.
Hi, Omar.
Waking up from your nappies?
He's in his Essek got his groove back
He
era,
did.
sort of.
Kinda, yeah.
Omar
Yeah.
also wants to know how
He does.
Essek is
Hey,
doing.
Omar,
Face.
you like Essek? Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, I love you. Give me a kiss. No?
No.
You looking at mom?
No,
Give Daddy a kiss.
It's okay.
Give Dad a kiss.
He's still
Oh my
sleepy.
God, this is
He's
the
very
same
sleepy.
combos that we have with Ronan.
No,
Mama.
He's like so nappy and like,
He's so
He
sleepy.
is. You want to take him?
He went to the vet today, so
Oh,
he's tired.
buddy.
Yeah, sorry,
It's always
buddy.
So stressful.
You previewed your questions. Do you have one to share? You could share with Laura. That was apropos to the both of you, maybe.
Like the what are we? It was apropos. That was a.
Yeah.
That line about the cottage, man, that's literally Bree and I's dream. And
The
that
cottage line
hurt.
is brutal.
That was
well,
rough.
because early in the campaign, it was like we could run away right now. We could
Yes.
ripcord. We
And
could just get a cottage.
There was a moment where like Laudna was Imogen was talking about like, oh, my dream is just my happy dream is just being with Laudna and baking in a little cottage.
Yeah.
Oh my
Things
heart.
got complicated.
They did. Didn't they, buddy?
Well, do we want to do one more round, or are we tapped out on questions?
I think we're pretty tapped
A
out.
lot
Let's
of mine
tap
are,
down.
we've
We
already
answered a lot of
covered a
them
lot of mine too.
in the early question.
Good
yeah.
job.
What was it like for
Alright.
Laudna
Job,
to
folks.
see a visage of Delilah during her normal internal conversations? I think right now she's like, she's so in it, she's just like, what's up?
Yeah, that seems
In a
about
weird
right.
way. And then we kind of already covered this one too, which is, why is Laudna so focused on not being perceived as a liar? Could it be due to Delilah's gaslighting or because of Imogen's original response on the skyship way back when? Yes.
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 Do you? Oh.
I'm so good at my
Is
job.
Dorian
you
blue
guys.
because he has
know.
bad
Good.
circulation? I think we're good. And this is the point where we would normally do a pull from the tower.
Yeah.
But I think we have to have someone scoop one off the
floor?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I haven't pulled any
There's
yet.
no
Yeah, you go for it.
consequences anymore. You
All right.
can just.
I ruined it.
No, you didn't ruin it. You made it better.
My mic pack
I'm
is
gonna
so
pick
hot
this
on my
one.
back.
It was the only one that was actually stacked.
There you go.
11
Number 11.
Number 11.
I'm coming, hang on.
Sweet boy.
11.
I'd hurt you.
Yes.
Oh, sleepy.
What was your number?
11. 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did any of your campaign characters have first draft names that didn't get used? If so, what were they? From Clarissa_Poncisa.
Clarissa, good question, actually.
So many names.
I had so many names. I had a list. I probably still
I
have
can't
it.
remember what they were, though.
Yeah.
I might have them on my phone.
Some,
Hold on.
looking back, some were bad.
I have mine. I think I remember mine.
What was yours?
Yeah.
By the way, who was that question from? Clarissa.
Clarissa.
Yeah, thank you,
She
Clarissa.
explains it all.
She does.
My
and now you explain it all too.
Sorry if you've never heard that before.
Yeah, I'm sure.
when we were workshopping EXU, we played some games to like get us in the vibe.
Yeah.
And I played around with a bunch of different characters, and I played a water genasi called Emil Moonwake.
Yeah.
I thought, I think that's where the Moontouch Scimitar started to creep in there. And then I played a goblin ranger named Flint Tip Bearscat.
Yep.
And Flint Tip Bearscat made his way into narrative telephone.
Yep.
Yeah. So he survived some way, and then I think those were my other ones. They all lived on somehow. I had like Angus Boulderbrow. He made it into a charity stream at some point.
So good.
And then my idea for the for the narrative telephone was. And I gave this to somebody doing another charity, was Jaxie Flaxseed and the Tabaxi Taxi. So he was like a retired monk that just went into the city and ran a rickshaw. It was awesome. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty fun. Yeah, those are some of my first ones I played with.
One of my original names for Imogen, which is funny because this was not established. Like this is before you like had made anything Red. Her name was Red.
Oh.
Just Red.
Hey, Red.
That would have been a little on the
2Ds?
notes.
I know,
It
it's
would've
so
been
much,
so on the nose.
and that was her name. It was just like, yeah, Red. I knew an old cowboy named Red.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my childhood,
That's a
and I was
great
like, that
nickname.
just like
That's so
feels
cool.
right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Well, it was fun because like, when I was preparing the campaign, I was like, it's going to be this whole theme here with the Rudis-born Rudis, and Fern had been established in EXU, and I was like, Fern with the Dark Fae. I already kind of she might be like the Rudis-born Tether for the campaign. And then when you made Imogen with this like dream of this like storm that chased her, I said, what if the storm was red?
Yeah, and I was
And
like, oh, I
you're
love
like,
it.
yeah, it'd be great. And I was like, okay, now I have 2 Rudis-born. Great, 2 tethers. I can make this kind of a dovetail like dual narrative. And so yeah, that was kind of where that stemmed from. So the name Red would have made it even more like, okay, well, fuck. Maybe that's a bit much.
I hope you
The
would've
storm is
gone,
crimson.
maybe change it. Maybe change it more.
The vermilion dust pours through. I just never use the word red.
Well, what's funny is one of my potential names was Vermilia.
Oh my
Red
God.
and vermilion. I'm just like,
I got close to
Wait,
Vermilia.
no, that's wrong.
Chosen
Rudis is now blue.
Names and
I want to be blue. Damn.
Shit! God!
Oh my god!
brains were there before we knew
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I also
good
had
stuff.
Morella,
Morella's pretty fun.
Noxie.
Noxie.
Noxiva?
Yeah, Noxi.
That's a good one.
Noxie.
Like noxious.
And those were, and then I had
yeah.
Matilda on there, but Matilda I ended up naming
Your original
my
name.
Original
yes,
name,
my
yeah,
original
like the
name.
pre-
My
Was
pre-name.
Pate ever going to be anything different?
I knew Pate before my own name. I had like
nice.
I was so late to name Laudna because I was so like I didn't know what to do. But when Hannah, she came back with art and I was like, I want some dead things on my belt. Can you put dead things on there? And then this like kind of together we ended up coming up with this like rat with a
Like
bird skull.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I started thinking about like where this rat would come from and her spending time. I just thought I was like, this is gonna be funny to fuck with Taliesin. I'll name him Pate de Rollo. And that was it. And like
No, it was just always there.
yeah.
My God. It was so funny.
that's
You
funny.
establishing the whole persona for him for a number of, like a big chunk of the campaign.
Yeah.
And then you're taking that one warlock level where you can bring
him to life.
To life as a
Yeah.
familiar. I'm like, uh-oh.
What is it?
I gotta do this now. Here we go. No.
Well, that was a super fun question. Thank you again, Clarissa.
Yeah.
And if you have an evergreen question or a fan question or even a timely fan question for our Tower of Inquiry, you can enter at critroll.com/tower. And that just about does it for this portion of Four-Sided Dive, baby.
Yeah, that's over, right? We don't have to do the next
That's it.
section?
It's all over. No punishment for you. But for our podcast listeners or those watching this as a VOD, we do bid you adieu. But please make sure you check out more Sided Dive, because when we come back from the break, we will be playing a game. We're doomed.
We're doomed.
That's the game.
We're totally gonna work together and save humanity and totally not backstab each other in the process.
Nope.
Bye.
Bye.